Penalty report for Arlington. Triple Crown. There's no penalties. Why is that? Because you think, statistically speaking, these guys are on the track almost 50% more. So shouldn't there be some more rubbing and racing going on? Well, you know what Mark Twain says about lies. There's lies, damn lies, and statistics, which essentially mean it's mumbo jumbo. Just like when somebody asks you if you're cheating and you say no.
I'm not legit. I'm unlegit.
I digress. The track was interesting because I would have expected more bar banging because it was very one line. There was a lot of 90-degree corners where riders were just sneaking to the inside across the start, and then there was a dragging back where riders had to go wide to keep the momentum up to be able to hop off. However, the dirt was so slippery. It looked like a lot of really, really good traction, but the riders said, nah, it's not that good. And then you had the whoops that had a big issue with the futures during Friday. They were too big. You saw a lot of riders going down. Then other riders got involved saying, hey, Supercross is just gnarly. And eventually they cut the whoops down, and riders still were struggling with them. And as the night progressed, because of how much time is on the track, they just got beat to shit. And it became one of a pivotal part to the whole racing action. And I've done some line breakdowns in one of my technical videos that you should go check out. This was a survival round for sure. And if I'm talking about who did it the best, it's not the winner, not Cooper Webb. Because yes, he made the most points up in his racecraft. Every main event, you had riders lapping up almost inside the top 10, even with the shorter motos, which is crazy. And for that reason, Webb was able to get around Sexton in that last race. Sexton got caught up with some lappers and Webb was just able to go around him. That's because Webb, when he rides, he's looking around. He's planning. Is he the fastest guy? No. Is he ever the fastest guy? Rarely. But we keep talking about his racecraft and just his confidence and his mental fortitude. But there's a segue to the rider is winning a championship on his bad days, and that's Eli Tomac. Comes out, wins the first one, that's great. But what showed confidence was in race 2 when he decided to not get in a fight with Sexton and just let him go. He knows it's a long series and that, hey, it's okay for me to step back a little bit, maybe check out some of his lines. To me, that is showing how much growth this rider has, and that, yeah, he's not retiring. And from what we're seeing out of him, why should he? And he should continue to stay on the bike for another 5 years if he continues to have this sort of fortitude to him. Sexton. I've said it time and time again. How do you fix a rider that has sheer raw speed that can almost put other riders in a little bit of a hairy situation because he is so fast and he's faster than you? And he's moving around the track, pushing the bike to its limits, pushing the track to its limits, which is sketchy. He rides almost as if it's first or last, and he needs to cool it. Is it because potentially this guy wants to make sure that he's out front, and that's how he's going to continue to build his confidence by just kicking everybody's ass by 10, 15 seconds? And then if he becomes third because he slows down and just finishes, it's not good enough? He'd rather go out swinging and crash and finish third? To me, that seems like you need to have a coach in there that tells him, hey, we need to look at what Tomac is doing, look at what Cooper is doing, and putting it together. You're fast, but we also need to know when to slow down to go fast. That's that famous saying. The Suzuki, Kenny, he needs to just always get a good start. If he can get a good start and race clean for the first couple corners and come out front, he's fast enough to win. But he's not fast enough to push through if he gets a 8th place or 5th place start. It's just not going to happen for Kenny. He needs to get lucky right off the bat. I don't know what they need to do to that Suzuki to give it just a couple little extra horsepower or something. Gear that ECU just for the start so that he could get out front. Something. He needs to do something. And if we're talking about the start, backtracking a little bit to Tomac, how far he was starting on the outside. Just the confidence that he had that he was going to let the clutch out perfectly. Because, yeah, you can carry more momentum if you're going from outside to inside. It's just a typical road race line. However, if somebody on the left or right of you or the guys on the inside get a better jump than you, they're going to block you and force you to slam on the brakes and slow down. And now you're on the outside of everybody and you're going to get passed several times from the inside. It baffles me that the gap is dwindling between confidence when I look at Cooper Webb versus Tomac. And Tomac is learning a lot from Webb's style of racing, and he's implementing it. And on paper, who is faster? Eli Tomac, who has an engine that if he wants to run Sexton's speed, he can do it. He's proven it time and time again throughout this series that A, if you get your ass kicked, you can come back and turn up the nos. He has that crazy ability in order to do that, where it's incredibly rare. I wish I had it. I know everyone else that I've talked to wishes that they had this cheat code to be able to go 2-3 seconds a lap faster on a dime, on a whim. Him riding safely is fast enough to win. It's remarkable, absolutely remarkable. The 250 class. I really think that the West Coast is faster. When I was just watching it and I heard Jet talking about Thrasher, I mean, he's defending his brother. I completely understand it and I get it, but just being a little biased, he was talking about Thrasher cross jumping, and it just made me think about last year when he mistakenly cross jumped Faulkner and took him out in the air. It was just, hey, things happen. Nobody's perfect, and Thrasher is racing with a torn ACL. So I really think that the majority of his mistakes, like Ricky Carmichael said, have come through him not being able to squeeze the bike, because you ride a motorcycle with your knees, not your arms. If you ever try to ride a bike with your arms, you're going to get lactate in those arms. You're going to fill up with blood, and they're going to shut down. They're going to lock up, and it's going to suck. That's why riders get a arm pump surgery done so that they can go do stuff. I've never had it done. I've looked up the procedure, but I really think that it's a technique thing. It's not something that you should go surgically try to fix. A, you need to gain more weight. B, you need to stop taking PEDs so that you're not having blood in those muscles. Whether even supplements, creatine, whatever, you don't want extra fluid, whatever, inside your arms. You want to be able to breathe. So just more time on the bike and doing more squats to be able to squeeze that bike. Really, arm pump can be fixed with bike setup, number one, and then number two is technique. And in closing, if you made it this far, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell. A lot of you have been doing it. There is a trend to subscribe to this channel, and I abso-effing-lutely love it. Last rider we're talking about is Jason Anderson. And we know the guy is fast enough to win. And he is fluid. He is fun to watch on a bike because that bike just flows underneath him. It's an extension. It's like an arm. It almost is as if he's taken both worlds. You have riders that overemphasize their body movement, and then you have riders that are like stiff as a board. Look at Kenny. He doesn't move a whole lot on the bike. And then you look at somebody like Hayden Deegan, who is all over the place. Then you have a rider, Jason Anderson, that fits right in the middle, where it's almost the best of both worlds. He has almost a perfect technique. Yes, I'm going to say that. He has almost a perfect technique, even with the jersey falling out your pants. He's got the little Superman form. Maybe that's his secret sauce. But yes, there is a big but here. What does he need to do to continue to win races? He came home with 1 of 3. Which is great. That is a building block for him. He needs to forget about everything else going on, because I would like to see him move up into this championship hunt between Eli, Sexton, and Webb. Because as of right now, the favorite is still Eli. But everybody loves an underdog, and that is Cooper Webb. But let's throw another one in there with Jason Anderson. And it's a long series. We're not even quite halfway yet. So it's going to be incredibly interesting, especially moving into Daytona. which I know Jason Anderson can do well there. This is Johnny F. and Hopper. Till next time, keep it WFO.